Hi, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Thyroid Refresh TV. I'm Dana Bowman, co-founder of Thyroid Refresh and Thyroid 30.
And I'm Jenny Mahar, the other co-founder, and we are so excited to be here today with the Fern Olivia. Welcome, Fern.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You guys out there might recognize Fern from the amazing Thyroid Yoga videos she's created for our Thyroid Refresh workout library, but she does so many incredible things. Dana, do you want to give everybody a little bio for Fern?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So Fern Olivia, she's many things, but she's a passionate, innovative, internationally recognized teacher, speaker, and influencer on the power of integrative medicine, yoga, and holistic lifestyle practices, which she lives every day, combining her education in biomedical engineering with her studies in yoga and integrative nutrition. Fern has created Thyroid Yoga, which you guys know about, hopefully, a unique approach to supporting thyroid health. And of course, she's all over Thyroid Refresh, so you got to check out those videos if you haven't seen them. In addition to teaching, retreats, events, and speaking on the topics of holistic health and self-expression, she's also the founder of Ajay. Is that how you say it?
Ajay.
Ajay Alchemy? I want to get it right. Ajay?
Yeah, it's
Ajay.
perfect. Yeah, Ajay.
And it's an all organic essential oil fragrance brand, and she hosts Sensual Intelligence TV, and she interviews lifestyle influencers, and she does so many things. She lives in Nosara, Costa Rica, my home of 8 years, Costa Rica, which I absolutely love. She teaches Kundalini Yoga at the Bodhi Tree Yoga Resort currently, and she serves the local community and visitors as a Nosara wellness guide, and she's just such a heart-centered, grounded, amazing human being, and we are so thrilled to have you with us today, Fern. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It really, truly an honor and a gift to share the wisdom that I've experienced in my life through healing from Hashimoto's. So really thank you so much for having me on to inspire and empower your audience today.
Can you start by telling us about your personal story with thyroid disease?
Absolutely, yes. So I had symptoms when I was about 16 years old. I was excessively sweating. I was having severe digestive problems, constipation, gas, bloating, brain fog, fatigue, food allergies, you name it. Everything that's classic hypothyroid Hashimoto's. I had every symptom in the book. So my mother took me to the endocrinologist, very typical of a really good mom, bless her heart. She was like, you need to get on Synthroid. That's the medication I take. So the doctor, writes me a prescription for Synthroid. I remember it was 125 micrograms at the time. And I went on that, and I was on that all through college and beyond, and my dosage just kept going up and up. I just kept going to more endocrinologists, and they said, here, take more dosage. You're always going to feel this way. This is a condition that so many women have, and, you should probably, they said, you should probably just get your blood test every couple weeks, and we're just going to increase your dosage, and here, get on birth control too. And so I was on all this, medication to try to manage my symptoms and to manage all the PCOS symptoms that I found out about later as well. Lo and behold, I studied biomedical engineering in college. I was constantly fatigued. I was up late night studying, and then I was binge drinking. So, that is definitely not good for the liver, and definitely not good for the kidneys and the adrenals or my thyroid. But no one was telling me that what I was doing was completely off the radar. And what ended up happening was that I was at the health center almost every day in college, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. They never tested me for any food allergies or sensitivities. I was eating tons of processed food and pizza and all these things at the dining hall, which obviously we know gluten is the #1 offender for the thyroid, but no one was telling me this. They were just giving me more and more antibiotics because it looked like I had the flu every time I came in with flu-like symptoms. Strep throat, inflammation, everything was classic, candida overgrowth, but I didn't know what that was at the time. So lo and behold, I got out of studying biomedical engineering, graduated with honors, and was like, I don't like the medical field. They're not helpful. So I'm going to go into finance, which is very strange. But I needed to make money and I needed to live the life that I thought was the American dream. So I went into New York City, worked in the banks, wore the high heels, did all the things that I thought I needed to do, but my health was suffering. And the truth is, the thyroid, and I'll be happy to talk about this deeper, it's our fifth chakra and it's our center of communication and self-expression. Clearly, I wasn't expressing myself. I wasn't giving my creative gifts in the world. And I was doing work that was not aligned with my soul's purpose. So I was getting really stuck in my body. All the inflammation was really coming to a tipping point. And then one day I fainted in the subway, and it was this moment where my soul spoke to me, and my soul said, stop, enough. You know, this is not the life you were born to live. This was not your dharma. And a couple months earlier, I had found yoga. On a lunch break, I had walked into a yoga studio to deal with some of the stress that I had. And I was running races in New York and doing boot camp and spinning just to kind of try to quiet the stress in my head. And a yoga teacher put her hands on my low back, and I felt immediately safe. And it was a new feeling for me because I was being yelled at all the time by a condescending boss, and in a relationship where I didn't feel heard and understood, and I wasn't speaking up. So yoga became a way for me to listen to my inner healer and to start to understand the food choices and Ayurveda and functional medicine and nutrition, which I had never studied in medicine in school. I had never even known about how inflammatory foods can wreck the body and cause allergic reactions, and never knew about candida and bacteria and parasites and heavy metals. So this whole world was starting to open up for me, and I began to heal myself. I began to be my own researcher, my own alchemist, and ultimately my own medical practitioner. And it was so empowering. And from there, I began to empower other women in my life. So many people were like, I have a thyroid condition too. Can you help me? So it was this natural evolution that I began helping everyone that was coming to me. And I created Thyroid Yoga because it was my own healing journey. It was so easy. I was putting together poses and sequences that were working for me and then sharing it. So.
Wow.
And you've trained a lot of other yoga practitioners in thyroid yoga, right?
I have. I've trained almost 100 yoga practitioners and wellness coaches and healers and women just looking for this for their own health and vitality. And it's been the biggest gift to be able to empower teachers to have this ripple effect in the world. And what's so fascinating and fun for me is that there's teachers that have created flows and sequences and programs for women with endometriosis, with PCOS, with cancer, with, there's so many women that have come to me with thyroid cancer or have recovered from another cancer, and they're using what I teach in thyroid yoga to create something for their own communities from different other diseases and conditions that they've experienced along with a thyroid condition. So it's very complementary, and it's really fun for me to see the teachers stand in their strength and create something that really resonates with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to see all the work that you do. I love following your Instagram. It's always like, oh, there's Fern, what's she up to today? And, you're, of course, a New Yorker who I feel like in LA, you were almost sort of like born again.
Yes.
And then now you're in Nosara, Costa Rica. So just because I'm in Montana with 2 feet of snow on the ground right now, can you indulge me and just paint a picture for us of what your life is like in Nosara, Costa Rica, your new home?
Yes, you're in my bedroom right now. So everyone watching right now, welcome. It's a very special place. Not everyone gets to enter. Here we are on YouTube.
I feel so honored.
Right? Me too.
So honored. So I didn't want to make you too jealous sitting out next to the hammock and the palm trees in the living room. So I do have palm trees in the living room. So, and if anyone is interested in doing a private thyroid yoga training with me, you will be welcome into the whole house. And I live on this beautiful palm tree lined street in the jungle. It's dirt road. There's a private beach path that I take every morning when I teach a daily thyroid yoga sadhana at the local resort down the street. It's beautiful. So my life starts at 4:44 in the morning when my alarm goes off, which years ago, if you told me that would happen, I would laugh at you and said I need to sleep till 11 at least. And now I wake up no problem, take the cold shower. It's really good for starting the lymphatic system and the thyroid to start refreshing. Thyroid refresh, I mean, that's the ultimate refresh, is a cold shower first thing. So I start there. I do my 5:30 morning practice, which is usually just me and one or two other people that are dedicated to this, Kundalini Yoga, which is an amazing technology. I do thyroid flows and sequences and sun salutations every morning, and then I go surf, or I run on the beach, or I meditate more, or I just listen to my body. Make my celery juice every morning. I actually was running 10 minutes late because I had to make a glass of this. I juice every day. I drink fresh coconut water. I go to the farmer's market and pick up all organic fruits and vegetables. I love nourishing myself with good food and friends and community here. I have a thriving wellness community, so supportive and wonderful. And then I go about my day. I usually have maybe one client, or I mentor yoga teachers and new health practitioners, either in thyroid yoga or just creating their business. So I usually do one call a day. And then my day is really spontaneous and flexible, and I allow myself to really just take care of myself. That's my number one initiative, is to really honor and take care of my body that for years I gave away for whatever reason, whether it was work or toxic substances or foods that didn't agree with me. Now it's my biggest investment is my time and my health. And I really choose to nourish all the time with people and experiences and myself that really lights me up.
Tell us about celery juice. Now, are you still doing a completely plant-based diet?
100% plant-based, pretty raw. And I'll talk a little bit about that and why that has worked for me, because it's different for everyone, and I really respect that. So right now, I drink celery juice every day. First thing in the morning. If you're familiar with medical medium Anthony Williams' work, I'm a huge supporter in what he does. And Liver Rescue is really important to read that as well. And the medical medium, the signature book as well. Celery juice is super detoxifying. I wrote an article on MindBodyGreen about it too, if you are interested in checking that out. So celery juice, super, super high in phytonutrients, and super important to drink it alone and to drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And why that is you're detoxifying the bloodstream. It's unfiltered. You're not diluting it with any other things like apple or lemon or cucumber. So it's really strong, and it's super, super detoxifying for your liver. Ultimately, why we want to detoxify the liver is the thyroid usually isn't the culprit of why we feel so bad. Usually it's like, oh, my thyroid's bad. I have a thyroid problem. It's not your thyroid. Your thyroid is telling you something. Your thyroid's trying to be your friend and say, listen, something's not working in my body. And number one, it's the liver. The liver has a very important responsibility in the body, and that's to detoxify. And when it's clogged up with heavy metals, pesticides, parasites, bacteria, fungus, which I don't know the statistic, but most people have one of those at least, worms even. And even if you think you've done the colonics till the cows go home, you know, there's so much that's stored in our body from childhood. And especially eating meat and animal products that weren't clean from a young age, that can stay in you and grow massive worms. And I know that's disgusting. And if you want to stop listening, be my guest. But please listen to this, because it's super important. Your liver is your friend. Your thyroid is your friend. Nothing's broken. And the most important thing is that you give it fresh nourishment. And every day, the celery juice, why it's so important, is it's going to start to flush the liver and get the toxins out and help you move your bowels, especially if you're constipated, help your skin be bright and radiant. It really is the most amazing remedy that I've found for giving myself energy in the morning that's not coffee and that's not caffeine. So if you're interested in that, learning more, check out Medical Medium's work, or check out my article on MindBodyGreen. And you want to juice it. That's the best way to drink your celery juice. Also, you can, if you don't have a juicer, you can blend it and then take a nut milk bag and squeeze out the pulp, and then you'll have just the filtered juice.
Okay.
And, it's so amazing because, I'm actually going to start doing my celery juice, but it's wonderful to hear you say, this is what works for me, because you've listened to your body and you have worked on it, and you're kind of in tune with your body, because it doesn't work for everybody. A plant-based diet is not for me. I need some meat and some other things, it works for me, but it's wonderful that you have kind of tuned in and you've listened, and that that's right for you on your path, especially right now. I love that.
Especially living in Costa Rica. So I was paleo for years in New York. I tried keto. I tried an Ayurvedic diet. I do believe in Ayurvedic nutrition for sure. I believe in bioindividuality. So everyone's different. And the biggest thing is releasing judgment for yourself. There are things that don't work for anyone. Sugar, if you have a thyroid condition, is the worst thing you could do. It's going to mess with your hormone balance. Sugar is bad. Gluten also, and when I say sugar, just to clarify, it doesn't mean fruit. Fruit is wonderful, but you have to eat the fruit on its own. Empty stomach fruit first thing in the morning, beautiful. It's not going to spike your levels unless you pair it with oatmeal or carbs, because if you combine, there's different food combining rules, and I can talk forever about food combining. You never want to combine a fruit or starch with a fat, because that's going to create mucus in the body. There's doctors, Dr. Morse, Dr. Erhart, if you look at their work, they'll have vast knowledge about the food combining principles and what creates the mucus and the candida and feeds parasites. The fruit is not going to feed the parasites. And there's a lot of misconception with the candida research of many people saying, don't eat fruit, stay off fruit, stay off fruit. Fruit is actually super, super healing for the body. And it's not going to break down into the sugar the way that other sugars like a cookie would, for example. So fruit, I'm a huge proponent of fruit, and that's what I have access to in Costa Rica. The dragon fruits with the bright red colors, and the pineapples and watermelons. Watermelon has to be first thing separately in the morning too. Super important, because otherwise the fruit is going to ferment in your belly. If you eat your pineapple after your dinner or your berries after a steak dinner, that's all going to ferment on top of this flesh and create a lot of gas and mucus in the body, which we don't want. Mucus is inflammation. Thyroid imbalances are usually inflammation originating somewhere else in the body. So with bioindividuality, back to that, is that I found that so many of these diets weren't working for me. When one of my practitioners said, you need to have 30 grams of protein in every meal, well, that might have worked for her because she's a different level of activity and different body composition than I was. So with me, with 30 grams of protein, animal protein every meal, I was feeling fatigued, I was feeling angry, I was feeling irritated, and I was feeling stressed. And why that is, number one, my body doesn't really thrive with that type of food. Number two, I wasn't resonating with that. As a yogi who's just super into karma, I couldn't understand putting flesh in my body. It just didn't feel good to eat another being. And what I also noticed is that I was more stressed and fearful because I didn't know where the source of my meat was coming from. And you absorb energy, whether it's plants or animals, you absorb the energy of that animal or plant at the time it was harvested and throughout its life. So I was absorbing a lot of this stress and negative emotions and fear in my life. And that's something that I really pay attention to for me. And I just encourage everyone, whether they're eating animal protein or plants, to just really take into care and consideration where your food is coming from and what you're absorbing from the people that prepared the food. I don't go to restaurants where the people in the kitchen are stressed out. I don't go to restaurants where the food isn't made with love. And for me, that's a bigger responsibility to yourself than anything else. And nourishing yourself with care and saying a blessing over your food. And, this is helping my thyroid. For me, the other day I had a tiny piece of gluten and I knew, I was like, I shouldn't eat this, but I really want this little piece of organic vegan pizza. And I know it's not gluten-free. But I told myself, I'm going to feel fine tomorrow. I'm going to feel amazing tomorrow. I've been off gluten for nearly 12 years. So a little bit of it, I was like, I know I shouldn't, but I just want to try this. And I blessed it. And I told myself, I'm not going to stress out about this. And it's really wonderful what happens when we give ourselves permission rather than when we deprive ourselves of something we want. A cookie, for example, not good for me. I know I shouldn't have it. But 1 or 2 times during the year or a month, at a special occasion, I'll have some gluten-free vegan cookie or cake. And I'll say, you know what, Fern, you're doing so well. This is nourishment. This is blessed. And it really helps so much with healing.
And that's so important, giving yourself the permission. We talk about this all the time on Thyroid Refresh because there's so much, shaming out there, when you're in elimination diets and things, which is great. But the stress over, I think there's so much stress now put on what you should not eat and should eat this, should not eat that, that it's causing kind of an adverse, effect on people's bodies and their psyche. So I've been doing the same thing, Fern. I've really been saying, this is okay, this glass of wine. I'm with my girlfriends. I don't do this very often. And I'm going to have a second glass and I'm going to be okay. And I'm not going to be upset about it. I know that my candida and all these things, but I'm okay. I'm just going to be okay with it. I'm not going to stress about it. And so I've kind of worked that into my brain so that now when I do indulge, I don't even have to kind of say it out loud anymore. I kind of just know, look, I'm choosing this. It's okay. I nourish my body all the time. This is what I'm choosing right now. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good for me. And I move on. So I love that you said that. It's really important too. It's really important for people to try to think like that and to think on those terms. We don't need any more stress.
Yeah, I've seen so many clients. I love that you said that. I've seen so many clients of mine ask me for all these, really robust restrictions. And what happens when we analyze whether it's our blood test results or our restriction list, things like that, it takes us out of the intuitive mind of listening to our own inner healer and puts us into this very analytical place. That doesn't work for the thyroid, and it doesn't work for the ultimate system of healing, because we are very intuitive creatures and we will know what's right for our body if we listen to our body. We'll know if we feel good. It's not about a test result. It's not about the labs are a little snapshot in time, but it's really how do we feel day in, day out when we wake up in the morning? Can we consistently wake up feeling good? And what do we need intuitively? How do we intuitively listen to our body and understand the root cause of why we're suffering versus another medical diagnosis or another lab test? It's really interesting what happens when I take women out of this analytical Western medical mindset into this more intuitive Eastern mindset. That's when we begin to self-Reiki, and that's when we begin to look at Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic rituals and Kundalini yoga as ways to heal. And these practices have been used for thousands of years. I didn't create them, which is the coolest thing. I'm just using the wisdom. And it's amazing and remarkable how fast it works. It's like the secret to life. And it works so fast. And women are astounded when they work with me because they're like, wow, that works so fast. I've been struggling with this for years. I've been going to Western doctors for years. And I say, I know. Well, there's so many reasons why. I mean, Kundalini yoga and functional medicine and Ayurveda and Chinese medicine are working in systems of the body and the meridians that when you're tapping into the meridian, that's the source of your life and your organ systems. That's going far beyond what a pill can mask. The pill is just going to mask the symptom. You're going into your organs, you're going into your life force, your prana, your chi, you're changing things on a biochemical molecular level, reprogramming thought patterns, reprogramming things that might have happened in your karmic lineage with your family. You're changing your epigenetics. It's science and it works, and it's so much fun.
And it sounds so huge, but I think we all know here on this path of, thyroid friendly living, it can be as simple as just self-love, just shifting our approach from one of aggression to one of compassion towards ourselves. And there's this huge, what fascinates me so much about being in this realm with the work that all of us are doing is the overarching, if you look at what's happening, if you go up to 30,000 feet and look at what's happening in health right now, it is so incredible and exciting and patient-led. It looks like this beautiful revolution that's based on a lot of really ancient ideas, and just also that shift away from, let's stop attacking our bodies. Let's like, does that even make sense? Let's just attack our bodies into being healthy. It just doesn't make sense. And you wrote this incredible article for us about Radiance Rituals. And I know I look to you, and so many of your followers look to you for like that self-love and really celebrating that. I think can you speak to that a little bit? Like,
yes, absolutely. I think that having rituals to remind you that you are holy, you are sacred, is one of the most important pillars for healing. When we think that we're a patient and we think that we're weak, and we tell ourselves we're broken, oh, I can't go out, I have this thyroid condition, or, we say negative things to ourselves, our bodies will take that as truth and not want to heal. But if we adorn ourselves in organic essential oils and they smell like love, I've got some under here, you give yourself the permission. It's a hair, face, and body oil. All organic essential oils. This one's called Radiance. My company is Ajay, and Ajay means invincible.
Ajay. Got it. Okay. Ajay.
I love that.
Ajay.
Invincible.
Ajay. And I have rollers that you roll right on your thyroid, and this you can put right on your thyroid too. And part of my Radiance ritual, this one is called Radiance. It's a blend of frankincense, rose geranium, peppermint, and lemongrass, which are all very anti-inflammatory for your thyroid. And it's also great for bloating, anti-bloating, so you can put it on your belly and massage it in too. And so when you put these essential oils right on your body, they'll be absorbed into your bloodstream and help you heal. They'll promote decreased inflammation. This one gives you mental clarity and focus. So you take a couple deep breaths with that. I put it in my hair as well. It's the only hair product I use. It helps me with the jungle. It keeps everything smooth. So rituals help bring you back to you, and they help you to be more magnetic, because people that take care of themselves, people want to be around that. No one wants to be around the person who's always complaining and saying, oh, I'm sick again, I don't feel good. It's okay if you don't feel good, but what are you really doing to help yourself feel more radiant and feel more inspired and empowered? And for me, what really works is the daily practice, whether you do that before sunrise. The reason I do that before sunrise is it's the ambrosial hour. There's a certain degree that the sun is placed in the sky at that moment, which makes your meditation practice more powerful. And a sadhana in Kundalini Yoga is a devotional practice. What are you devoting to? You're devoting to source. You're devoting to your highest self. You're devoting to spirit, whatever that means for you, a greater presence that's helping you with your healing. And for me, that really works at that time in the morning, because it's before the rest of the day. It's before I turn on my phone and check my emails, my messages, Instagram, anything else outside of me. So for me, that time really works. And I really encourage everyone that I work with to pick a time that works and then keep it consistent, because things are going to come up. Your children they have a doctor's appointment, or, you have to take your dog to the vet, or you've got a work call. But if you pick a time that's before all those things, then there's no excuses. And then you have time in the morning to do the tongue scraper, which is an Ayurvedic ritual to take off the ama, the toxins off your tongue. You have time to do the coconut oil pulling, the body brushing to stimulate your lymphatic system, the refresh shower, the cold shower to stimulate your lymphs and your glandular system and your heart and your thyroid. And then you have time to do your breath work and your meditations and your yoga poses to recalibrate your thyroid and cleanse your liver and flush your adrenals. You have time for all that. But if you wake up late, you'll be groggy and, have that whole hypothyroid, oh, I need to sleep 8-10 hours thing. But if you start to give yourself that consistent wake up early, I can promise you that it starts to get easier. And then you start to look forward to it, because you know how good it makes you feel to rub the essential oils on yourself after the cold shower, and then doing your yoga meditation practice, and like the feelings of energy that you have. It really is remarkable. And that's what is the one size fits all approach that I have, is the daily practice. That's everything. And we figure out a different practice for everyone that I work with. And that's what's the most fun part for me, because I work with everyone's schedules and I say, okay, this is where you're not showing up for yourself. These are the excuses you're making. Do you want to keep feeling like this? And most oftentimes the women that I see, and sometimes men as well, are coming to me more often now. They're like, do you work with men too? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Thanks for admitting you have a thyroid condition. So many men are afraid. They're like, not only women have thyroids. I'm like, no, men have thyroids too. And what's really fun for me is to figure out where people aren't honoring themselves in their life or making excuses, getting past that, and then on the other side, seeing them feel really radiant. And that's the ritual.
I think it's so helpful too for all of us to see, even though we're all bio-individual, and one person's morning routine might look different than another person's morning routine, and one person's diet might look different than another's, and all of that. Mm-hmm. I think some of the magic of what you do is you show us, like, this is what it looks like for me to live this thyroid loving lifestyle. This is my, art. And I'm going to share it with you. And thank you for doing that, because it's so, you do it so beautifully and it's so inspiring. I want to live in Nosara. I want to surf every day. And it just sounds so incredible. Can people come and see you and do retreats and things with you?
Yes, that's what's so much fun, is that I currently have 2 women here right now in my house, and it's amazing. I host travelers from all over the world. I've had women come for thyroid yoga from Berlin, from Australia, from all over the United States and Canada and Mexico. And it's been really awesome because I host travelers in my house. I have a gorgeous 2-bedroom here. And then I also partner with wellness retreat centers and other properties to offer customized retreats and teacher trainings. So I can train you in thyroid yoga while you're here. And we do Ayurvedic rituals. We do a juice cleanse. I'm partnered with an amazing surf resort here. So if a surf package with surf lessons is something that inspires you, we can surf every day. There's healers and body workers and all different types of, crystal labyrinth ceremonies, sound healing. It's really beautiful and custom, and that's what I love to do. And I have about 4 more thyroid yoga trainings next month of individuals coming for time here. So that's what really is lighting me up. And if you're interested in any of that, find me on thyroid.yoga or Fern Olivia on Instagram. And what's really fun for me is to see you on the other side, to watch these women that have come to my house to spend this time with me and then have the time to do rituals and celery juice and essential oils and Reiki, to see them go back home and keep these practices up and inspire their families and inspire their partners and people at work. And it's creating this ripple effect once again. And it's showing what's possible, seeing my life, actually being here and seeing my life. You see, some days are nutty, right? Like the other day, I had such a busy day. I had about 3 Reiki clients giving energy work. And then I was doing all these calls. And usually I say 1 call a day is the only thing I'll do. But I had a couple. And they saw me stress, and then they were like, wow, we're so amazed. You're so in your grace, because I was running from one thing to the next. And they said to me, it's amazing to watch this, because even though you're busy, you're so graceful. How do you do that? And I said, well, the thing is, I woke up at 4:44 in the morning. I did my practice. I did my cold shower. I did everything. So the rest of the day, so many things can be happening, but I know how to get myself back into balance, and I don't freak out and I don't stress. And one of the most beautiful things is knowing that you have to hold yourself. You have to stay in your grace and your radiance. And so I have these little reminders. I have the essential oils always on me. I have this rose mist that I make, and I spray myself in between clients. And I have all these rituals that I go back to bring me back home to myself, and bringing that back to the thyroid as it keeps me in balance, because I'm constantly taking care and nourishing myself.
Wow. Wow. And
I
what
love
I'm
that.
picturing, I do too. And what I'm picturing is, I show up and I see how you do it and we formulate a plan for me, and then taking that back and what it looks like for me when I get back home. It seems very empowering and loving. And so I love
Loving.
do that. I love that you do that.
I love it too. It's very, very loving. I'm so lucky that the women who are attracted to do this work have been so receptive. I mean, I've been calling in dream clients who come here. They are so excited to make these changes in their lives and make these lifelong changes in their lives. And my work is really easy because I just share what I love to do. And I just share the yoga practices and the Kundalini technologies and the breath work and the essential oils and everything that I live every single day. I live it and breathe it every single day. And it's a gift to be able to share that with people who are so receptive and so ready. And in this beautiful home of Nosara, Costa Rica, where, I mean, it's just so vibrant. It's a blue zone. And what that means is National Geographic chose, I think it was 10 places in the world where the most concentrated population of people living over 100 years are. And one of those places is Nosara, Costa Rica. So we have clean water, and I mean, everyone knows the research and just how you feel when you live on a coast, when you live on the water. We're happier, we're healthier, we're more vibrant, our skin's glowing, we don't need makeup, we just feel like you don't need to hide your radiance because you are radiant. And it's just this lifestyle that fosters health. So it's really, really cool and special that I get to live here and do this work. Really fun.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap it up, we like to leave our listeners with like maybe a few actionable tips or, just ideas or whatever you want to pass on to them. Do you want to share maybe some things like what has worked for you, or what do you recommend for the listeners out there who
might not
feel
be living
hopeless and at the mercy of this medical diagnosis instead of thriving alongside this medical diagnosis?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is so important, and it's something that I didn't touch upon yet. It's find mentors and people who uplift you. I look at there's Facebook groups for support, or like groups on, Hashimoto's and thyroid conditions, and there's a lot of complaining. And instead of upliftment, everyone's in this like place of my conditions and I'm crappy and all these things, and it's not uplifting. And when you're not in an uplifting vibration, your symptoms get worse. So we really want to keep. That's why Thyroid Refresh is so amazing, and that's why I love doing the work that I do, creating community and teacher trainings. It's all around empowerment and listening to the symptoms your body is telling you, rather than sulking and saying I'm broken and I need to be fixed. Because when you start empowering yourself, and positive affirmations are a beautiful thing. I have a list of thyroid affirmations on my website on thyroid.yoga too, so you can find that on the resources page. So affirmations are beautiful because they help you get back into a place of positivity and telling yourself you're worthy of feeling good and worthy of feeling healed. So that's one of the easiest things that everyone can do, and it doesn't cost a penny. So there's a way to shift your vibration from a frequency of a low vibration of feeling hopeless and broken and at the mercy of a diagnosis to a place of empowerment and radiance. And it's so easy. And then using things like essential oils, which are nature's medicine cabinet, really, really powerful. You can use that to complement your own healing. And I know women that have told me that they've decreased their dosage of medication on essential oils because they're so powerful. So I really love hearing stories like that. And it's all around receptivity and a ritual of knowing and trusting that the ancient medicine that was created thousands of years ago from raw earth, we are that earth. We are made of the same elements. So really trusting and understanding that it's not the synthetics, it's the nature's medicine cabinets, it's the Kundalini yoga, it's the breath work, it's proven practices that really work. So finding something that resonates with you and sticking with it every single day and being consistent. And then maybe the next thing would be, I just have so many. Sleep is so important, and it's people don't talk about it enough. If you are waking up to a sadhana very early in the morning, you need to go to bed before 10 o'clock at night. The earlier the better, because if you look at the Chinese organ clock, you'll notice that there's certain organs in the body and certain systems that need that time overnight to rejuvenate and repair, such as the liver, the kidneys, the adrenals, the thyroid. So getting that time at night where you're sleeping, and then rest is so important. So if you feel like it's a challenge to go to bed that early at night, if you have a lot of work to do at night or you have a night shift, yoga nidra is one of the best forms of yogic sleep, they call it. And I also offer this as well. You can find it on www.thyroid.yoga. Yoga Nidra, I have meditations you can download, excuse me, as well as I guide personal yoga nidra sessions. They call it yogi sleep. One 20-minute session is about 6 hours of sleep equivalent. So you go really deep. It's a guided meditation journey. And rest is so important. You lay horizontally, and it's the most beautiful experience to find that deep rest in the middle of the day, and then you come out on the other side feeling really vibrant and taken care of and nourished.
We love Yoga Nidra.
Yeah.
We put one on the site, actually. Yeah, it's so powerful. Okay, so one, find mentors, and not just mentors, but mentors who uplift you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And to find things that resonate with you that you can use as part of your practice, right? Whether it's essential oils or, different little rituals you do each day. Find a practice and get enough sleep.
Yep.
We can't say it enough. Yeah. Get enough sleep. It's so foundational to like every system in the body. So those are awesome
quality sleep.
tips. Yeah.
Quality sleep, because I was getting sleep before, but it wasn't quality through the night sleep. And I've really been working on that, and it feels very nourishing to my body and healing. So I know I need it. So then when I do get a few nights in a row of really good rest, it's this domino effect. It's like I just want it more. I just want to keep going to bed a little earlier and getting a full night's rest. It feels really good.
It's better than any pill you can take. I mean, you're right. It really is addicting to feel well rested.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Thank you so much, Fern, for being here. It's been wonderful sharing this time with you. And thank you for sharing your light and your radiance and your wisdom and your love with us, with Thyroid Refresh, and with our audience. This is such an amazing community of strong, courageous people, isn't it? We're reminded of every day, and we're so glad that you're a part of this circle with us. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. This has been such a fun conversation, and I really encourage everyone out there that's been listening and watching to keep it up, to keep thriving, and to share this. If someone is struggling and there's a nugget that really hit you and impacted you, to really spread the message to them. And I really, from the depths of my heart and soul, would love to know each and every one of you who has listened today. So reach out, connect, tell me you listened on Thyroid Refresh, and maybe I'll see you in Costa Rica.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for being here.
Pura vida.